Okay, can you hear me? Let's see if there's anybody in here still. Testing. Stay still.
Everybody left.
There you are. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear? Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
I almost feel like breaking out in song.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you can hear. Yay!
Yeah.
So sorry, y'all. I've had computer issues all week long, and I'm not professing anything, speaking anything negative out there. It's just that it is what it is. I mean, I work online for a living,
It is
and
what it is.
it's been frustrating. So my computer froze several times this morning. That's why I decided not to do live. And then Sherry messaged going, "You doing live?" I said, "Well, I'm having coffee. Why not?" Here we go.
So here we are.
So we were just, and I guess I muted the best part because I said people our age need to. He was joking and he goes, "What are we talking about this morning?" Because my Berkey behind us was overflowing as we started, and I heard drip, drip, drip. Happens way too often. And I said, "Well, we're talking about the weather." And Timmy goes, "Talking about the weather? Why don't you just turn on the news?" And then I replied, "Honey, people our age talk about their bowel movements and the weather. That's what it is."
I don't talk about my bowel movements. It's disgusting.
That's just what people do. They talk about, how healthy you are, if you're getting enough
I had a good
fiber,
day.
how everything's coming out. Um, so right now everything's poopsicles. And I joke about that, but we go outside and you got chicken poop and dog poop and it's all frozen. And it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
You don't bring it in the house like that though when it's frozen. You
Yeah,
have to
it's
worry
nice. You
about it
can
sticking
step
to your
you
shoes.
can step on it and it don't come inside.
Crunches.
No, seriously, that was not our plan to talk about. I was just talking, y'all, everybody's kind of going through this crazy um weather issues. You have us with the snow and everything and the cold, and then you get the people with the fires
In California or
in
Los Angeles.
California. And it's more than just Los Angeles, it's all the surrounding areas. And then the little fires are getting started everywhere. And I mean started, not spreading. Started. Um, and it really comes in. She goes, "I'm the only one who fills it now. Been there, done that with a Berkey." Oh gosh. Yeah, well, we both take turns filling it and then we both forget and then it overflows. And I'm just thankful we have a house that it doesn't matter. It don't you can't hurt this house. So that makes me very thankful. Um, but anyhow, both situations, y'all, have got me really thinking in the prepper mindset. We talk all the time about prepping for peace. Matter of fact, we had a prepper meeting Sunday. Unfortunately, we were there, but we couldn't stop and stay and go to the meeting because I really wanted to hear about it. And they were talking about prepping in the Bible, about God talking about prepping. And
Would have been a good one.
I know, and we missed it because we were hunting down an herbal eye treatment for Timmy that we finally ended up getting our hands on because it was here back at home instead of all around town. That's another story. But anyhow, we've talked about, if you've had coffee with us a while, we've talked about how, God told Noah to pray. I mean, it took Noah over 100 years of building that ark before the storm hit. And he taught to, oh my gosh, I'm going to get the person wrong. I wanted to say David, and I know it's not David, who ended up, he gave them the vision of they were having the famine for 7 years. And then he put them in charge of everything, and they became a very wealthy nation because he heeded the warning and listened to him and stored everything up for 7 years, because there was going to be a 7-year famine. And yeah, if you think that God doesn't support prepping, you might be mistaken because he wants you to have peace and not fear. He tells us not to fear. He doesn't tell us not to prep. And he actually tells us not to fear 306. Joseph, thank you,
Joseph.
Sherry. I was like, David kept popping in my mind, and I knew that wasn't it. I kept telling us not to fear over 365 times in the Bible, one for every day. And how do you not fear in situations? One, you have faith. You have to have faith. You have to have hope. And being prepared for situations helps remove that fear. A matter of fact, in the local groups, people were freaking out because they didn't store. One lady was out there distraught because she needed to get baby formula. She didn't realize that she was low. Not quite sure how you do that when you have a baby, but then here's a storm, icy roads. The county is telling everyone to stay off the roads because they're so dangerous. They're endangering the first responders' lives by just going out to Walmart or wherever because they wanted to leave. Now there are times that you have to leave, but so many cars are stuck. They're blocking the roads.
Yeah, yeah.
People cannot get through. First responders can't get through, and they're putting everybody's life at risk because they forgot bread, milk, diapers, formula, dog food, whatever, and they just have to go and get
Yeah,
it.
let's go to Walmart.
And I understand y'all don't sit there and get your pitchforks ready. There's times that you have to leave. You're gonna have to take a sip of coffee. You're gonna keep clearing your throat. There are times that you have to leave, and there's are times that your bosses are making you leave, which I've worked for those people before, and that's a horrible position for them to put you in. You've worked for those kind of people before.
I sure have.
Matter of fact, Gavin works for the county, works for the state at the recycling center, and we couldn't get off our mountain last year, and they told them that the roads being closed was no excuse. Like they literally the county closed our roads, and his supervisors told him that is not an excused absence. He has to find some way to get to work because people got to recycle. Anyhow, prepping. Everybody thinks it's about doom and gloom and conspiracy theories and all this stuff. Nope, it's about Mother Nature and everyday life, y'all. But the thing that was causing me to really think is all those people, and we have friends that, matter of fact, a good friend of ours of ours, but he was in my wedding to my ex. He was our best man. He had to evacuate. He's in the middle of it. Doesn't know if he has a home or not. And that started me thinking about preps.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people find peace and security in the fact that their pantry's stocked. They're good. Their freezer's stocked, their pantry's stocked, and they're good to go. If they were in our situation and couldn't get out because of the snow and ice, they're good to go. But switch those situations and say you're in the California and you've got the stock pantry, the stock freezer, and everything, and all your canned goods, and all of your apothecary and all that stuff, and you're well stocked in your livestock feed. Then you get the evacuation order. How good are you then?
Well, yeah, that does raise
The bug out bags,
concern.
the leaving home preps.
That's a tough one, and especially when you have animals, livestock.
We've been there during hurricanes, and it's not a fun position.
No.
Not a fun position at all. Hang on, stupid stuff's popping up on my computer. So how are you guys? I mean, you don't have to, like they always say, the first rule of prepping is never tell anybody about your preps. Yeah, I understand. No, you don't want nobody coming to your place during a bad situation and raiding you or taking what you got. But let's just talk, you know? How are you guys as far as if you had to leave and couldn't stay? We'd be in trouble.
Yeah, that's the last thing you ever want to do is have to leave your home and
not know if you're coming back to anything.
Knowing you can't take but so much with you, and yeah,
just enough to survive.
And yeah, and the thought of is it going to be there when you get back, or somebody else going to be
looting and all that
looting and
stuff.
rummaging through your stuff and just taking whatever they want.
They've already had that in California.
Yeah,
People's door cams and stuff have been showing
that's
their house being looted.
yeah, that's tough. And I don't know how I would deal with it. I'd probably just say, Lord, just
We would have to lean into that. There's no way to know unless you've been in that situation.
yeah, just give me peace through this. And oh man, I don't know.
Well, then you have the people too, like in the hurricane recently, that then their house they kind of stayed, they wanted to stay, then they got trapped, and then they just got everything that they had got washed out.
Yeah, and I mean, taking the risk of trying to stay and ride the storm out, but man, when you have a flood come through, it's going to take you and everything else right along with it. So,
Well, what do you suggest for situations like that, Tammy, if we had to leave? Oh,
well, I mean, we've been concerned about fires and what we would do here if we had to leave, and it's
I need a different career. Elderly facility care sucks and insists you're here no matter what. But God bless you, honey. Seriously, God bless the people that are called to care for seniors and children. Good morning. We can fit our animals in our vehicles if we had to leave. Hey, Kathy. And the important stuff is selected and easy to pack. We usually don't leave because getting back is hard sometimes. Kathy, that's a good point because I hated evacuating when we were in South Carolina because of that. Like we evacuated a couple of times, and the one time that we did, they wouldn't let us back to our home.
yeah,
But yet we knew several people that were at home, and looting was a huge concern. And then we didn't have a place to stay. So, and then we're running out of money because we had just gotten married and like literally just got married. We got back the day of our honeymoon and we had to evacuate the day of.
yeah,
And so we were, it was a tough situation and we're like, oh, never again. We're riding it out, blah, 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 blah. And that's dangerous too. I understand both sides of that argument and I'm not going
yeah,
to point my finger at either one. So anybody that gets mad at the people that stay when they're under evacuation, until you've been in that position, you really don't have a right to, you know. Uh, People say I'm a hoarder. Please, I could, but wouldn't leave. And yeah, and there's that fine line between hoarding and prepping. I noticed with myself, it's like I'm going to need this someday now it's taking up so much space. It's causing me to lose my peace. What?
I'm not saying nothing. Not a word.
Smart man. Smart man. But I will say this because of our preps, like we've been home for several days and we don't intend on leaving unless the weather's nice because we have already had plans to celebrate our daughter's boyfriend's birthday. And I hadn't seen her since Christmas and I want to see her. But other than that, if the roads are dangerous, we're not
Yeah,
going anywhere and we'll be perfectly fine.
that's right.
There's no panic. There's no urgency. I don't like, oh my gosh, we don't have any XYZ. We need to find a way to get it because we can't survive without it. Hit the thumbs up, everyone. Kathy reacted. Um, but so, well, I think she was talking about not to judge unless you've been on either side of
Yeah,
that situation.
I know.
But yeah, but we've got peace. I mean, do you have peace right now? How hard has it been on you being in this situation? Now we live off grid. If y'all are just joining us, I'm sorry we didn't talk about that. We live off grid and we do have solar energy, as you can tell. We've got the computer going. We have satellite for our phone and our internet connection, Starlink to be exact. And we are very happy with that. And I wish I would have done it a long time ago. I wish it would have been available. It would have saved me a lot of cussing and a lot of headache. But we haul now. Our biggest thing that we've had to deal with is water.
Yeah, water is a tough one,
It's
but
always tough.
we um we use a lot less now.
No, I'm just talking about during the storm. Our well froze. We have an artesian well down in the holler, which is a half a mile down the mountain. And yes, even if you saw Homestead Rescue, he still hauls the water up the mountain. And that's another story. But our well froze and we didn't have, and our pool is frozen and our cistern's frozen and our rain barrels are frozen. All of our water reserves are frozen, solid. And there was no snow yet to melt to get water. So, good morning, Linda. How are you, honey? I can't read. I can read little things. I can't read big ones without my glasses. Um, so that's an issue. Like before, when we were stuck in this situation, melting snow was our saving grace, and we had to melt snow for all of our water needs, all of them. And it takes 5 gallon bucket of snow to make 1 gallon of water.
Yeah,
Just so you know. And you do have to purify that snow because a lot of times it is contaminated.
we boil it,
You boil
filter
it
it.
and filter it. Yep. We ate snow and survived as kids. I get it, but you don't want to consume large quantities of that,
No,
especially since you don't know what they're putting in the air.
that's right.
But that's been our biggest challenge, is what I'm talking about so far, right?
Yeah, and well, just like today, our solar panels are covered with snow, and there's no sun out, so I already know I'm gonna have to run the generator, charge our batteries up, and I'll probably have to run it again this evening because we're running blowers on our heaters, and you know,
We're using electricity,
we are using electricity. We have a refrigerator. We've got
electric fence for
a
the animals.
fence, electric fence with 5 strings that probably pull about 100 watts. So
I think
it's
it's pull more than 100 watts.
yeah, but I mean it's
But the blower on our fireplace is the biggest, and we only heat our house with wood. And I do know a lot of the county was without power over the last 24 hours because you get this kind of heavy snow and on already a very fragile infrastructure. And I say that, lightly because there's been so many outages and down trees. Seriously, you drive down and look at the power lines and I can't even describe it. They look like an old farm wire fence where it's been broken and tied together and broken and tied together and broken and tied together constantly. So there's so many possible areas where those can break and down trees. And y'all, we live by the Smoky Mountains, ain't nothing but trees, which we love. But in situations like this, it can become problematic. So there's a lot of people without power and out heat and out without a secondary heat source.
yeah. So fireplaces are a must
They are a
for
must.
for this time of year. It definitely is.
But there's situations that, I mean, there's things that you could do if you didn't have a fireplace to help stay warm in power outages. But other things too, and this goes for both when we live down south or here. And it's so funny. Everybody goes and gets milk, bread, and toilet paper. And that's always the standing joke. There's memes about it now. Milk, bread, and toilet paper. And that milk is not going to, now, if you're in the winter, it's different. You can just put your milk outside. But in the South, I'm like, what are they going to do with milk? We ain't going to have no power. They're going to have to hurry up and drink that the first day because it'd be 80 degrees or hotter. No fridge and no way to keep that milk cold. Or people, what was it? People, when COVID hit and all the shelves were going bare, everybody bought flour and yeast and ain't nobody know how to make bread.
Yeah,
But anyhow,
I know years ago when Hugo hit, it was a hurricane that hit South Carolina.
years ago, you mean decades now.
Well, decades ago, and the big thing was ice
Oh yeah,
because it was in I think it was in September.
September.
Yeah, and it was still warm, and people needed
Good
ice.
morning from snowy Ohio. Staying with my husband with a broken leg. Oh goodness, Meg, how are you, honey? They're making French toast. Yeah, though. Good morning, y'all. Glad to see your faces today. Meg, I've missed you. Meg, she had her leg.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, Meg, and I think about you all the time too, not only with everything that you've been going through, but every time I see seeds, y'all, I'm off topic for a minute with a friend. Every time I see garden seeds, I think of you. because we've had, well, Meg was like one of the first, she was the pioneer with seed saving and sending everybody these amazing seeds. But when we first moved here, that girl set me up, y'all, with every type of herbal seed, vegetable seed, fruit seed that I can imagine. It was incredible. Mega love you. Um, but anyhow, going back to, everybody getting ice. If people get things that are kind of, I don't think they're using common sense when they're shopping for situations like this.
Yeah.
You definitely want to get food items that you don't have to prepare. You want to get food items that you don't have to either keep cold or keep hot or bake to
Yeah.
eat.
Yeah.
You also want to get food items that are full of nutrition, take your body, don't, I mean, that your body can easily absorb the nutrients, things things like that. Those are the types of things that you need to be stocking up during emergency situations. I still got my huge seeds collection that I rotate constantly. Well, honey, as much as you collect seeds, I can't imagine you ever giving that up. And we are still in Mighty Networks, and we actually have a really good, not active every day, but a very good and active seed group that we share constantly. And I love it because not only are we sharing seeds, but we're sharing how to grow them. Okay, back on topic. Go ahead. But if we were, so as far as prepping, we have that experience of leaving for hurricane and taking this as stuff, the essentials with us. And now we also have experience of having a bug in as far as prepping goes too. And every time you see where your weak links are, I will tell you this. Timmy, y'all know he was sick with COVID over Christmas. He was in bed for 11 days. God knows what's going on. He knows our past, he knows our future, he knows everything. Had that happened at this time, my state of mind would be a lot different right now. I am so very thankful that I hate that he got sick, but I'm very thankful that he got sick when he did versus right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Linda says, "How about the time you spent your the hurricane in your freezer?" That was fun, y'all. We had a commercial walk-in cooler for a produce business, and we all loved it. And it had super like 6-inch thick walls inside a 4-inch, a standard building with a concrete floor. And when they called for evacuations and such, and the hurricane started getting real bad, our whole family went in there and spent the day. And so yeah, it was fun. We had board games and stayed the day in the cooler. That was the safest place on our property. It really was. It didn't have no windows. It was very secure. It was insulated. It was
Quiet.
thick. It was quiet.
Yeah.
It was so quiet. Matter of fact, when we did emerge from the cooler, all these trees were down and Mr. Martin's yard and took out the fence and everything. Great big oaks. And yeah, we were oblivious to it somewhat.
Mm.
Remember those days?
Yeah. And then the cleanup began. Yeah. I remember cooking on a 55
We won't
gallon
talk about the
drum.
other evacuations, though. We used to have a lot of fun.
The any day in.
Yeah, yeah, we made the most of it. And typically back then, thank the Lord, it was never for extended periods of time like what people are dealing with now.
Oh yeah.
We don't want to make light of the situation, but
No.
it was in our neighborhood when you were without power after a hurricane, it was barbecue time. Normally the sun come out, everybody's still dealing with the devastation, but you have all this food to cook. So we're lighting up the grills. Everybody was bringing meat, and yeah, so it was. You can make the best of a bad situation.
Go check the surf.
But as far as this goes, the major concern right now is people getting out on the road thinking they can drive because they need XYZ and endangering their lives, getting stuck in the middle of nowhere on ice and nobody can get to
And
them.
have to abandon your vehicle, and then
And that is, yeah.
it creates a problem for like I said, the first responders, and
Morning, look, you made it. Yay! So another cold weapon prep most people don't think about is carbon monoxide and smoke detectors and batteries for them. Yes, they were talking about that on the news last night, Megan. I'm glad you mentioned it because everybody's home is closed up. That's a
Yeah.
huge concern, and you don't even realize it's that deadly kill, that silent killer. You don't even realize that it's going on. Um, so yeah, you could get those. You definitely want to make sure that all your smoke detectors, if you have a carbon monoxide detector, you should. If not, at least try to. I don't even know the proper advice to give for that, but I want to say let fresh air in your house at least 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes a day, even if it's freezing outside. Open up the windows, open up the door, and let the fresh air in. You need to circulate that stuff, but get you the tester.
I think some of the fire departments actually have those.
They'll install
They,
them for you for free.
yeah,
They will. Most of them will. Call your local fire department if you don't have
yeah,
those. But not today, obviously, if you're in a snowstorm like we are. But, as soon as this passes and it's safe to travel,
yeah.
do that. If you have to leave, take you a get home bag. If you don't have one, Google search how to make one and see if you have the stuff around your house. Your get home bag, you're going to want in this weather, you're going to want your mylar blanket if you don't have one, something to keep you warm. You want to have your everything that you need if you have to
Yeah,
leave your car in order to get home safely.
yeah.
A flare, a map, granola bars, water, hand warmers, a small first aid kit, everything that you can fit in a backpack, emergency flare, a whistle, bright orange clothes, what is that? Paracord. If you don't have one of those, y'all, and this stuff isn't expensive. You can get a lot of it at the Dollar Tree, a lot of it on Amazon for really, really cheap. There you can spend less than $20 if you have a backpack and put you together a good get home bag, enough to make it home safely.
So I've been thinking lately.
I've started doing what the Norwegians do: 10 minutes 3 times a day. What is that, Meg? Share some more. 10 minutes 3 times a day. What is that? Okay, go ahead. You've been thinking more. I didn't mean to cut you
Well,
off.
we have walkie talkies here,
Yes.
and we leave our ours on the base, so it's charges pretty much, and then
And we have
every now and then we'll have somebody
come across.
come across the radio. And so I was thinking, I'm like, if we ever left a house and if we just took that
Okay.
radio with us, chances are if we got in a pinch and you
We could
didn't
reach
have cell,
somebody.
you could probably reach somebody
Yeah.
on that radio.
Yeah. There, especially around here, a lot of people
Yeah,
communicate that way just because cell service doesn't work, but the walkies do if you're in range.
I think it's just a shot that, chances are you might be able to contact somebody if you got in a
Hmm.
pinch.
And I will say this to you: we do have solar for our house, but we also have a lot of secondary solar panels, and we have those little ones from Patriot.
Yeah,
I want to say it's just Patriot. It's Patriot something or other. But if you look up survival, whatever
yeah.
from Patriot, you can get them on Amazon too. But we have little ones that we use to charge our cell phone. We can charge our flashlights. We can charge the walkies. They're good for that. Now I don't know. We are so if our panels weren't covered up by 6 inches of snow, they would be bringing in power right now because it is bright outside. It doesn't necessarily always need to be sunshine
Yeah.
to charge those things. It just needs the brightness. And it's not as much as if it were sunshine, but it still charges. So those are always good to have. And they're not a lot of money. You don't have to invest a ton. Um, Opening doors and windows. Oh, yeah, she just said that. So Meg said the Norwegian thing, 10 minutes 3 times a day, opening your doors and windows, no matter the temp. That's a very good idea because your house, your indoor air sometimes is more polluted than, like a subway station. And that's not a lie. Because you're sealed up, you're insulated. The houses that they build now, theoretically, are very well sealed. And you keep them all sealed with keeping your doors closed. That's a lot of toxic air.
It is.
One of the things that you can do, if you haven't already, is have a very good plant. You need one per 500 square foot of your room to help clean the air. Two, there are herbs you can burn that helps kill airborne bacteria, and sage is one of them. I'm not talking about like a Wiccan thing or anti-Christian thing. I'm talking about a science thing. I get a lot of flack about that post from Christians going, "Oh, that's what witches use." They do. And a lot of homosexuals use God's rainbow. There's nothing I can do about that. It doesn't make the rainbow bad, and it doesn't make sage bad. If you burn sage, and it's white sage, I believe, if I'm, and I don't know the Latin name for it, it's just sage. It kills airborne bacteria. So you could burn sage. I like to burn it in a homemade smudge stick. Um, Again, that's the name of it. It's not a Wiccan thing. They use it, but it's just a natural thing that kills airborne bacteria. So those are things that you can do as well to help clean the air in your home, especially if someone's been sick. Yes, white sage. Thank you, dear, for confirming. I thought so, but I sometimes my brain leaves me.
That's why I keep the hat on.
Keep the brain contained. But anyways, we're gonna get going because speaking of solar and all that, we actually have to run the generator, and it is loud, and we wouldn't be able to do the live. But y'all, please, if any of y'all you're affected by the fires out on the West Coast, let us know how we can help. We have a wonderful, wonderful community in Mighty Networks that we're just extremely blessed with. If you need supplies, if you have a family member, let us know how we can help. If nothing else, let us know specifically what we can pray for. So, there's a lot of things that we can do as we work together for this. And if you were affected by the snow that's moved in, stay home. And if you want to know more about prepping, give us a message, talk to one of the other members in the group, let us work together. And if you're clueless, like, hey, I don't even know where to start, start with your bug out bag and your get home bag. And there's so much information on the internet. I've actually have a couple articles myself on our website about those, the ultimate prepper list on my homestead life. I have a your everyday carry article on Off Grid Rebel, which is also our website. So there's a lot of information out there. But y'all, if you're prepared, even if you start today, start Google searching what should I put in my get home bag. Every little thing helps to give you peace in the time of chaos.
Yeah.
Prepping for peace.
That's right.
So y'all stay safe, stay thawed, stay warm.
I think that covers it.
Y'all have a blessed day.
Thanks for watching.